Why is consulting so stressful? Okay, I've just been editing the video. Firstly, I didn't realise how bad the audio quality is from the footage that I've captured when I'm outside. So, I'm going to give you the upfront conclusion of this video. So, once you've heard this, if you don't want to listen to the more detailed ramblings, then don't worry about it. I'll just see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. I just apologise now for the audio quality. It was so windy outside and I just didn't realise how much my AirPods were picking up. So, sorry guys. But the whole video is about why is consulting so stressful and what can you as an individual do about it. Let me answer the first question first. So, for me, this answer has two parts. The first is because, as I say later in the video, the consulting firm's product is its people. Okay, so when a client buys a service from a consulting firm, they are basically buying the output of the consultant's thought processes and mind. And so by extension, they are buying a little bit of you. To that end, you'll always be a bit more personally invested in your work than you would be if you were, for example, in industry. The second part is that nobody brings in consultants when stuff is going well, right? They pick up the phone, they ask for consultants when things are going wrong or it's going badly in some way. To that end, we're often parachuted into what are difficult, highly pressurized situations where people are already, and like senior stakeholders are already pretty emotionally charged. So when you bring those two things together, consulting brings with it a pretty unique type of stress that you don't see in a lot of other careers. So now we know the causes of stress in consulting, what can you as an individual do about it? Well, there are three things: seek the learnings, gamification, and choice. That's what it comes down to. Now, the audio for the first two, lost that completely. Sorry about that. But my point here was that you should look to understand what is it you want to learn from this stressful scenario that you're in. So that stops it feeling like it's happening to you, and you start putting the power back to yourself in the situation and say, okay, what am I looking to get out of it? What do I want to learn? The second part is gamifying. Okay, so how can you turn this very stressful situation into something that actually almost feels fun? The way I think of consulting is it's kind of like chess. Your clients are making their moves, you're making your moves. Ultimately, the difference is that we should all end up winners, but you should look to see, how do I make this situation fun? So, for example, you might look to try and gamify, okay, how quickly can I bring this stakeholder around? Or how many times in a meeting can I get them to say a positive thing? Or how many times can I not have to edit this deck? Like, whatever it is that you need to do to try and make it more fun for yourself in the immediate situation, that is what you should do. But look, there may come a time when both of those things just aren't quite cutting the mustard. And that's when you come to the third option, and that's choice. Now, I suggest you kind of skip forward to about, I think it's around 6 minutes in the video. Full chapters down in the description. But I do a much more deeper discussion on choice and understanding which bits of this stressful situation could you have influence over, which bits could you have choice over. And if you were to have a choice in each of those bits, what would you want that choice to be? And so it's starting to understand that you're not powerless in the situation. It is looking for where you do have the power to make a choice. And that will look different depending on what project you're on, or what level of seniority you have, or if it's an internal project or a client-facing project, whatever it is. In every situation, there will be some things that you have choice over. Go and seek them out. Go and pull the levers to make the choices the ones that you want them to be, and then work with the scenario from there. That's the upfront conclusion of this video. If that is all you were here to see, that's great. Thank you so much. Hope you found it helpful. Feel free to drop your own advice on managing stress in consulting in the comments. It would be great to help each other. But if you want to understand a little bit more about how I got to these conclusions, then carry on watching. It won't disappoint. This isn't the video I was planning to film today, but on this channel I always want to be honest with you and transparent and tell you good times and the bad, and it's tempting when you're having days like this to not pick up the camera, to not even bother filming a video at all. But I really want to show you that consulting has its ups, but it also has its downs as well, and to be honest with you about those. So I'm going to get out of this trackies and I'm going to go for a proper walk. With cars, so I hope you can hear me okay. I guess this bit of the video is going to be pretty rambly. I'm still processing my thoughts. That's partly why I'm walking. I find that easier. So if you don't really want to listen to the ramble, just don't skip to the conclusion. I don't know right now what that conclusion is going to be, but I'll find that out as I edit this and I'll film one. For me, the source of all stress, of all tension, of all frustration in consulting is down to one very simple fact. And that is that the consultancy's product is the output of its people's minds. What I mean is, when a client buys a consultancy firm's services, they are basically asking us to come and help them solve a problem, and they are basically buying the problem-solving skills that are in our minds. I don't know if you guys are following me, but run with it. So they're effectively buying our brain power and our time, which is different in industry where they employ you to basically deliver a service within them. For example, when I was in Sky, I was a project manager, so I was not paid for my thoughts or my advice. I was paid for delivering a thing on their behalf, i.e. my services. Whereas in consulting, because it's advisory as well as like delivery and strategy and all types of things, technology, whatever it is, you are being paid for your thoughts and your advice. So here's the source of the tension. What the clients are procuring are those thoughts, that advice. But what therefore by default, by extension, they are purchasing is they are also purchasing you. In a way, they are purchasing a bit of you. Either what you're being asked to do or how you're being asked to do it is somehow at odds with the you that sits behind the output of the thought processes. Maybe that's the most clear thing I've said this whole video. And the thing is, it's often really hard to articulate that as a stress and as a stressor. And if you don't know what the difference between those two things are, check out my video for Stress Awareness Week, where I made a video about that. But I think that is specific to the consulting career, and it's quite unique to a consulting career. And I think this is not specific to any one firm. I think this is a general challenge of the industry, one I don't necessarily know how to solve, certainly not at an industry level. At the individual level? No, I don't think I know that either. There you go, turned around, hair's blowing the other way now. And the way that I'm personally am choosing to deal with it is to say, well, I'm going to maximise the fact that culture at such a big organisation level probably can't really exist as a single entity. I get around this by maximising the value of mini subcultures. That's both creating subcultures within my team that reflect the values that I want to have, and also working to try and work with clients who work in a way that closest aligns to the way that I want to work and the values that I have. And so in a way, I think the way to deal with it is, when you're operating in an organisation of this scale, is to basically make your team and your project into almost a mini company. Like you run it like a mini company. And I suppose as I've gone up in the organisation, like, whilst manager feels great, manager is by no means senior in a consulting firm of this size, of this scale. But as you go up, you do get a little bit more choice, because you become known for things and you have to choose what you become known for, and that gives you some choice into what you can do. So I guess, like a lot of things, it comes down to choice. Choose to use the infrastructure of the system. I choose to use the levers at my disposal relative to the level that I'm at to create the culture that minimises the stress that forms off the fundamental dichotomy between consulting firm and its product, i.e. its people. I guess what I'm saying is, when you're feeling overwhelmed by the natural stress that is born of the consulting model, when that is feeling overwhelming for you, and try the learning thing, try the making it fun through gamification, but if neither of those things are working either, to stop yourself from feeling overwhelmed, you ask yourself, you look for, what things in this situation do I have choice over? And those things tell you what you can control. And then you'll say, how do I then control the things that I have choice over, so that my choice is the one that's actualised? Be interested to see when I've edited this video back. I'll film the conclusion to this once I've done the edit, and I'll work out if I still agree with this conclusion. But I would be interested as well to hear your coping mechanisms for when the stress of consulting feels overwhelming. What do you do? How do you manage it? What tips and things do you apply? I really, really would like to hear your thoughts. I'd like to try some of your ideas. I'd love you to share them with other people so they can benefit. But for now, I'm going to walk the rest of the way home, edit this video, and I'll film a bit more later. If you are one of the fabulous people who has made it this far in the video and have put up with the terrible audio quality, then I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you are real superheroes. I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, feel free to leave your advice in the comments. I would love to take some of your advice, and I'm sure others would too. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please do give it a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, more content like this, all that good stuff, and we will see you in the next one.